It's been almost 10 years since the last Maxis produced SimCity. And the reason it's been so long is we wanted to make sure that the technology was there to be able to make the SimCity we really wanted to make. So both making sure computers were fast enough and the graphics could handle what we wanted to do, and also that the world was connected enough so we could do the true multiplayer that we've been waiting for.
Well, you told about the multiplayer, but most of us, all SimCity players, just want to play on their own. They want to just fiddle along. Is it possible that you can just start your city and let no one enter from outside?
Well, I think, first of all, I think once you see the multiplayer in action, it probably will change your mind about how you want to play the game. But you're certainly welcome to play alone. I mean, you could. I would say if you play alone, you could certainly play one city alone, but you're probably more likely going to want to play an entire region on your own, or even a couple of cities in a region, a couple of cities with other people. But really, the richness of that game and the fact that this has been built from the ground up to have that multiplayer experience, it's really going to be, you're going to want to play with others.
I really want to play. You told us because you can actually alter things for other players. Can you give a little example of what you can alter?
One example we saw today was how the crime from one city was sort of spilling over into your city, and it was making your city. You saw the arsonist appear in your city and drive up to your house and try to burn down one of your houses. I mean, that came because somebody else had crime in their city. Another example would be that since your city is creating all this pollution, it could spill out of your city and over into other cities. But there's plenty of more examples that we have, and we'll be showing that to you in action at E3.
And could you actually talk to the other players and tell them that they have to make more work of fighting the crime? Or?
Of course, yeah. You'll be able to communicate with other players in your region. And we'll be showing that as well at E3, but we need to have that communication because otherwise how you could coordinate together when you want to collaborate or compete, so yeah.
And how many cities are there going to be in one region?
Well, we don't have an exact number yet, we're still working on it, but it's going to be in the tens, not the hundreds, because, I mean, mostly for gameplay reasons, is because you want to be able to work together as a region, and if it was too big, it would be too daunting, so.
How big is the new SimCity in comparison to SimCity 4?
So the city we showed today is about as big as it's going to get. It's the size of a medium city in SimCity 4, which we found most people played. But what we have in addition to that is the idea that you can play in a region. And so you can play in a region either with other people or with yourself and have multiple cities. And those cities, since they will influence each other, it allows you to really sort of play a whole region if you want. So I'm sure our power users are going to play an entire region on their own, specializing each city in the region to really like make it sort of an Uber city. Yeah, so they'll be the size of the medium-sized cities that in SimCity 4, so 2,000 by 2,000 meters.
We saw the new gameplay elements, like the new overlay, stuff like that. It looks like it's going to be a lot easier to manage your city. But where's the challenge? Is it still difficult for managing your finance? Because it was really difficult in SimCity 4.
I mean, I think, again, with everything else, we're working on how to make it more accessible, but keep that depth there. So even though the data is presented in a very clear way, you still need to solve how you're going to deal with that. And there's still a lot of work to happen there as a mayor. I mean, I think the challenge, there'll be some of the same challenges, some new challenges, and it's a new game that's based on the same philosophy. I mean, in terms of the budget, we're still sort of working out how the budget's going to work exactly, but you'll still be managing the budget, and you'll see the direct impact of what you're doing with the budget. So rather than just defund the fire department as a whole, you're going to have to go specifically into your fire station and say, well, I don't want that service to work, and turn off a fire engine, something like that. So you'll have a lot more direct influence over sort of how your budget works with your city and has the effects on your city. We certainly understand that SimCity 4 was very daunting in the budget area, and we want to make sure that the depth is there, but yet it's easier to access, so we don't scare off players who don't know how to deal with that stuff. So.